Hi folks, and welcome to episode 17 of my Assassin's Creed playthrough. So this episode's just a lot of horse riding on the way to Jerusalem. Instead of doing the fast forwarding thing again, I actually have decided to ask Brian some questions about what makes up my computer, because I am using a custom build to play my games, but it was Brian that built it. So therefore, as the knowledge, I would just need to log into PC Part Picker, to be perfectly honest. The only thing I know is a lot of the parts in my PC are older and there are newer versions available. That's my lot. So Brian, without further ado, what makes up my PC? Dumb it down, please. This is for noobs, remember.
Okay. Well, with the PC itself, it took a while to sort of get put together. So, I've got the i5 processor in that one, which is, I believe, 7th gen. It's a bit older. There have been newer ones since. It's essentially no longer buyable unless you scour for it. But I've also got an NVIDIA 970 graphics card, so
That's what makes it look pretty. Makes the games run, as far as I'm concerned.
that's basically where everything gets connected into, and why for a game in 2007 it actually looks alright, Assassin's Creed. I think that it looks pretty for the age, but NVIDIA 970 still runs pretty well. A lot of new games might run okay on it, but you might be looking at newer ones by now anyway if you were to get a graphics card.
Would you still be able to purchase, say, this one because it would be cheaper because it's older, or do you think it would be obsolete now just because of the age of it?
So you might be able to get it if it's second hand, but the problem with that is computer parts, much like a loaf of bread, they've got a lifespan. After a while, they're just not going to work. So be careful with what you buy. If you go for cheap, know that it's going to be used, but you can get new graphics cards which can be as cheap or cheaper than this was when I first bought it, actually.
So what's the kind of ballpark price you're looking at for a graphics card then?
Well, at the moment, I think that the novice or sort of entry level, you're looking at under, well, £250 to £300.
Right.
You can obviously spend a lot more than that if you want.
Yeah, so if what you do is build computers, you can run into thousands upon thousands of pounds for a graphics card. But I'm going to be starting doing a custom build, I'll probably be looking at one that's a couple of £100.
Yeah, about
$220 seems to be the cheapest shown on PC Part Picker just now.
So, yeah, it's a good site. It is very handy, especially for knowing if your machine will work with everything you've got in it. It doesn't tell you everything, but it tells you enough.
It basically, PC Part Picker puts together, it's essentially a basket, but it's a parts list. And then that lets you know if everything's compatible with each other, whether or not will that graphics card work with that processor.
Although there are other websites for it, let's not verge on advertising.
Yeah.
Other than that, there is a good bit of RAM in that computer, which I did slowly build up. I started with 8 gig of RAM, but then I got another 2 sticks. So you do normally get it as a pack.
So RAM is memory, yes?
Yeah, so it depends on how much you want to run at the same time. If your processor can handle it, and if your RAM is there for it, because the RAM is basically all the information you're trying to use at that moment in time. The more you've got, the more it can do.
Yep. Okay. Now you've got some written bronze 550 watt.
Yes. So let me just double check on that. I want to double check because with computers, one of the most important things that you get is
your power supply.
Your power supply.
And it's a 650 watt going by
That's my new one.
Is that your current build?
Yep. So I did learn from my mistake. When it comes to processors, when it comes to power supplies, there's a lot out there, and you can get pretty much any to work, but it's actually a 600 watt of bronze. So each of them have got a certificate. Bronze is, it's passed, it's safe. Then you can look at the sort of gold as well. Like there's higher certificates to say that this is going to last and
X amount of time. And
yeah, basically, you know, it's
so
not going to
basically,
develop faults.
bronze is good enough.
Yep.
Higher than that is essentially giving you a warranty without giving you a warranty. Is that the gist of it?
You're buying something that you know is going to work.
Right.
Work for longer. Anyway.
So I've got bronze in my build. What have you got in your build?
I've got gold.
Right. So Brian likes to be a bit showy-offy, and his PC is an upgrade of everything that is in mine. Although to be fair, I did encourage that by buying some of the parts as presents. So that's the parts that are in it. For the parts that are still available, there is in the description a kit that will show you the parts that I am using that are still available to buy. That might help you if you are looking to do your own custom build. It's also got the Maker PlayStation that we use, and the model PlayStation that we're using is a PS4 Pro. My controller's in there. I've got an RGB controller, as well as my keyboard and mouse, which look really pretty when they're all lit up in purple, but you can have them whatever colour you want.
Joys of RGB.
Yeah, Brian's is red and blue, because he pretends to be an Everton fan.
Excuse me.
Nah, it's not. He's just, that's his favourite colour. So, for when I'm recording these, that was really you and Mr. Peach UK, who description to his page and the description, go and give him a subscribe, where it helped me get set up, learned how to use the particular software I'm using. I'm using OBS.
And we use Streamlabs as well as the standard OBS. There's more information on them on their own website, but
do your best doing your homework, see what's best for you. OBS worked best for me, it might not for everyone, really. But you've got it set up, so you do it on your PC, but I play on mine.
So there's a lot of different ways to stream, and when it comes to it, obviously you want to make sure that you're getting a good picture. You want to make sure that people that are watching what you're playing can actually see it, and it's not going to be pixelated. So basically, you want it to be as clear as this is. When it comes to that,
high def.
Yeah, so 1080p high def. When it comes to that, one of the easier ways to make sure that people are seeing what you want them to is a multi-computer streaming setup. Those can be quite difficult if you don't have a capture card, although there are softwares that help you get around that, which are really helpful.
We don't have a capture card, correct?
Yeah, we do not, so we use an NDI, which
it's a plugin?
Yeah, it's basically, it uses the software that's already there, and it uses your own internet connection, which is great so long as you've got a good connection, or you can link up your devices without having them linked up. Both of them go into the same router will be fine. Having them go to something like a switch or anything that's got two Ethernet ports. If you've got two computers running through the same device there, you'll be able to use an NDI and it'll run smoothly.
Okay, so basically when I stream, I like to make sure that everything's going smoothly. I don't like to jump off the game because sometimes going back to full screen can be a wee bit funny. I don't know if you noticed in the earlier videos, my mouse cursor at the bottom of the screen. It's because I had come off full screen to make sure that my stream quality, my recording quality was good. And when I went back to the game, it wouldn't go back to full screen, and my mouse cursor just sat for that full wee bit of the game. I don't know how I managed to get rid of it by this point, though.
There are settings, yeah.
So I just let Brian work his magic on that. So going forward, what I do now is I start up the game, Brian starts the record, and that means that he can make sure the sound is capturing okay, the video is capturing okay, because I think it was chapters 4 and 5, I think. I had some episodes 4 and 5. I had some issues with my audio, and that was because the big inconvenience that is my dear fiance here was working, and I had to do all my own work. I mean, can you imagine, people? Shocking.
Yeah, it's a shame.
If you've got any questions that you would like to put to Brian, or myself even with regards being a noob playing a game for the first time, because that Templar, oh my lord, yeah, 9 of 60, I'm getting there.
Yeah.
Just pop the question in the comments if you're not too confident about doing it publicly in case you like a muppet. There's no stupid questions when it comes to learning, obviously, so
Yeah.
drop it in the comments and
or
we
message
will
on the social media.
we will reply, or in the description there's the social medias, so you can private mail us, and Brian's an admin on the social medias, so he'll be able to reply directly with an answer to your question that will make sense. If it doesn't, I will proofread it to make sure that a lowly noob like myself can understand his PC jargon, because sometimes he just goes off and I've not got a clue what he's talking about.
Yep. Too passionate.
Anything else you want to add about my setup?
Not really, but I want to see if anyone else is gonna sort of push you into the same kind of games that I want to see you play.
Right, so what do you want to see me play then?
So there's a lot which there's a lot which have got a sort of a background to it that is always very interesting. The sort of Bioshock games where when you get into the story you can't get out of it.
Alright.
Yeah, I want to see if you get as emotional as I do when it came to the games that made men cry.
What was the game that everyone wants to see me stream? There was a scary game that people want to see me stream.
There was a scary game, and
it's in your Steam library.
Mm-hmm. Why do I not remember? Because I think we've recently got that set up so that we can get that to work. Sorry, 1 second. None of these are working.
Was it not? That wasn't Crisis. That's that new one.
No, Crisis is getting a revival, a remaster. I cannot
yes,
wait.
Brian's getting very excited about this.
And it was a jump scary game, and I believe it was Outlast. I believe.
Yep, Outlast sounds right, and I actually think that was your brother's suggestion. Your dear darling Michael wanting to see me jump for miles.
So games like that have a good reaction, I definitely want to see more of you editing those games and scaring yourself with your own scares. But
yeah, so Brian is referring to when I was editing my first scare compilation from Hello Neighbour.
Which, by the way, shouldn't be a scary game, but
no, that is a PEGI 7. So again, fellow noobs, PEGI is the age rating, sort of like when a film is an 18. That's your PEGI rating for a game. No, that is not a PEGI 7. Scary. But yeah, I was editing my stream of that into a compilation of my best frights and got a fright and proceeded to spill my drink down myself. Brian was in stitches. It was not fun. Well, it was funny obviously, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
So Outlast, any suggestions from you folks, drop them into the comments. Again, if you're not too confident about posting in the comments, just hit us up on social media, drop us a private mail, Twitter, Instagram and Facebook, all in the description. This video is getting to be about 15 minutes long, so I am doing shambolically here. Too busy blaring. But the whole point of doing this video with the interview is because it's just a load of me on the horse. So we thought we'd do something that would help people that are new to, like me, help. But seeing as I've just died there, that wasn't very impressive, was it? Well, I'm just showing Brian the way out. So I've been sort of editing my videos, but Brian's going to be taking over for me in the sort of assistant, sort of long run. Just so I'm just showing the editing software that I use. It's quite brilliant, but again, don't want to risk advertising. There are plenty of good softwares out there. It's really up to you what one you choose to use, because they do vary in price from £25, like the one I use, so it's quite varied in what you can do on it, to there was one I looked at that was how much?
About £200.
Yeah, it was about £170 to £200. Crazy money. But yeah, if you like this, give us a comment, give us a like, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends and family. I would be very, very grateful. So, bye from me.
And bye from me, I suppose.